Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Gardener. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. So this is a question that is often asked, probably every alternate day I get this question, why is my succulent not growing? Now guys, there will be a couple of reasons behind that, but the thumb rule remains the same, that succulents take a very long time to grow. Again, depending upon your environment, your climate, what season, it all depends upon that. Because we also need to keep in mind that succulents tend to go dormant during a particular season, whether it's winter or summer, depending upon the variety of succulent. The first point being that succulent in general tend to grow very slow. Even a slow growing succulent is healthy. You do not need to be worried. There is nothing you have to do. That's how a succulent tends to grow. Again, depending upon the variety, some succulents grow a little slow. Some succulents might grow a little bit faster. Again, when I say faster, it's not going to be super fast. So you do not need to be worried. All you have to do is just give the basic care requirements that you have been giving. The succulent will grow as and when it has to. So the first and the most important part is succulent in general tend to grow really slow. The second point is dormancy and non-dormancy. As we all know that succulents in a year, depending upon the variety, whichever season it is, whether winter or summer, a particular variety of succulent will go dormant. Like for example, the Echeverias will go dormant during the winters, and the other varieties like Pachyphytums, Sedums or Graptovarias, Graptopetalums will go dormant during the summers. So that is another catch. So during dormancy, depending upon your environment, how hot or how cold it is, the succulent might either go into a complete shutdown wherein it is not going to grow at all, or it might have a very minimum growth. That completely depends upon your environment. So these are the two main factors why the succulent tends to slow down on their growth or are very slow with their growth. And the next point could be that you have a very small tiny pot. Probably that is one of the reasons why the succulent is not growing faster. But again, that is just a speculation. It's not that the succulent is growing slow because of the pot, but that could also be a very small little point. Like over here, as you can see, this was a pup that I had put into this small little container a while back. I will be doing the repotting today itself because I think it is starting to grow and it is not having much space. The soil is also quite less and the container is very small. So that could also be one of the reason. I'm not saying that is the main reason, but that could also be a reason wherein the pot is really small. The roots are not able to grow, or probably there is not much soil or there is not much space. That could also lead to a slow growth in the succulent. But again, that is not the main cause. The main cause, as I've said, is the earlier one, which is the succulents tend to grow slow in general, and secondly, the dormancy and the non-dormancy period. But this is the third point, which at times would work because a lot of us do not use very tiny pots, but at times if you have used a tiny pot and if you tend to see that the succulent is not growing quite good, then probably you will have to move to the next bigger pot. Now this was a pup that I had put in this, so I'm going to take it out and I'm going to show you how I'll repot it into a bigger pot. And probably after maybe 2 or 3 months, I will give you an update because it's not going to happen so soon. Even maybe after 2 or 3 months, it will still be the same size. It's going to take a long time to grow. So as you can see, the pot is really very small, so I will be changing it. The succulent looks absolutely healthy. You can see there are no wrinkles. The leaves are plump. Now if you take a closer look, you will be able to see on the crown area there are 2 new leaves coming up, which means that it is getting into its growing period. So I think if I'm going to repot it, it might do much better. So let me quickly arrange the pot and repot this and show you how I'm going to do that. So we have our soil mix ready. It's the same soil mix that I tend to use, which is loose, porous and well draining. So I will very gently try to take it out from this mix. And you'll also see there are a lot of new roots, those white roots. So that indicates that it's putting out a lot of new roots and it is time for it to go into a new pot. So I will gently push it into the soil. So now we are done with the potting. Now if you might have noticed, I did not clear the root ball because I know that the soil is perfect. The soil that I had used for this pup was a mix of sand and garden soil. There was no coco peat because the pup, when I initially put it in this pot, it was already of a good size, so I had to treat it like adult succulent. So that's why I had not used any coco peat. If there was any coco peat present in this on this pup roots, I would have definitely cleared it up, but as I know that it is only sand, so it's absolutely okay to put it directly into the soil. The soil is slightly moist because it was raining. Any which ways I wanted to repot it, it's absolutely fine. But when you are doing a repotting, ensure that the soil is dry in both the pots. The soil in this pot was completely dry, but the soil was slightly moist in this pot, but that's absolutely fine. Within a couple of hours, that excess moisture will be pulled out because we have a earthen pot over here, so that is going to pull out the excess moisture. Any which ways, almost 100% of the soil was dry, so any excess moisture in the root ball will be pulled out by the soil, so it's absolutely fine. So now we are done with the repotting. I'm going to keep it aside. Now the succulent is being kept in indirect bright light, but slowly I'll start introducing it to morning direct sunlight so that it can start getting that beautiful purple color. Let me quickly show you another purple delight that is kept in full morning direct sunlight for 5 to 6 hours, how it tends to look like. So this is my purple delight, Graptopetalum purple delight, which is in full morning direct sunlight. You can see the colors are much more visible. Not a lot, usually tends to get even more purple in color, but of late there's not much sun, that's why the colors are slightly faded off, which is absolutely fine. And if you notice over here, this portion that you're seeing over here, now this is where I had accidentally touched with my finger and the farina has got disturbed. So it's very important that you do not touch the leaves, otherwise the farina will get disturbed. At times accidentally we happen to touch the leaves, so ensure that you are very careful when you're handling succulents with farina, because this portion that has been affected, the farina is not going to grow back on that particular place, but this is how it tends to work out. So you have to be extremely careful that you hold them by the stem and not on the leaves, because the moment you are going to touch the leaves, the farina is going to get disturbed, because we have the oils on our fingertips that is going to disturb the farina. So you have to be extremely careful. Any succulent that has farina, always hold them from the stem while repotting, or you can use any of these equipments that you have in order for potting them. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep planting.